As you well know, I'm talking about Dolph Briscoe, and he doesn't need any introduction, but I want to say just real simply and real briefly that Dolph Briscoe has already, even though he has not taken office yet, he will in January, that he's already taken a great leadership capacity at this convention and in our state, and I think the unity that we see here today, that we've seen out through last week, proves the great leadership ability that we have in this man called Dolph Briscoe. And at this time, I want to present the next governor of the state of Texas, Dolph Briscoe.
Thank you, Chairman Roy Orr. Fellow Democrats, I first want to introduce my wife, Jeannie, who has been such an important and vital part of my life for almost 30 years, and certainly the vital part of our recent campaign. And our daughter, Janie, and our daughter, Seal, who are with us today. I hope and pray that we will take the high road of responsibility, each of us individually, that we will send to Miami a delegation which is truly representative of the Democratic Party in Texas, a delegation which will be unchallenged because it will be a delegation which is determined by a truly democratic process and an atmosphere of trust and mutual cooperation. We must implement the spirit of these rules, and that simply means that we must, each of us, exercise the principle of fair play throughout this convention. The day of winner-take-all politics is over. What we must work for is the kind of politics which makes all of the people winners.
Able representation of Texas in the United States Senate or elected. But without offense to these fine public servants, it must still be observed and remembered that when the voting was over and the returns in, Democrats in Texas had rejected the strident voices and selected those who spoke in measured tones. They chose the candidates who campaigned not as spokesmen for one political philosophy or another, but who campaigned as problem solvers. They voted, for example, for the kind of leadership that the next governor of Texas, Dolph Briscoe, has already provided in the 10 days since the runoff.
Mrs. Farenthold, are you satisfied with the Briscoe piece here at the convention?
Well, you know, I've said it before, there's a lot of difference in the use of words, and to date I've just heard rhetoric. I don't want to prejudge it. I think a lot will depend upon what comes out of credentials, and I've heard conflicting things about that. So today is the day we'll see.
Well, what do you now? The McGovern delegates, as I understand it, and you are one here today, are going to get their delegation to Miami, their fair share, supposedly. What are they giving in return?
Well, apparently putting up very few not challenges, but candidates for different posts. I hope that the McGovern, as I hope each other presidential preference, receives their fair share. That's what we're here about. But I just don't know whether that's going to happen until the day is over with. As a matter of fact, the McGovern group will have what we call an evaluation session whenever this convention comes to an end.
Do you expect this evaluation session to be a rump convention?
No, you don't have to have it. And I just heard Billy Carr, who's the floor leader for the McGovern group from Harris County, say that the McGovern people do not intend to rump because you can have this other process. We're working within the new rules, and I just can't speculate on how things are going to come out.
Do you expect to be a delegate to Miami from Nueces County?
That's a good question. My name was put up, and at those informal caucuses, I was one of 4 delegates elected from the senatorial district, first put up in Nueces County and then elected, but there's some complications there too, and I just don't know how it's going to turn out.
If you don't object to looking to the future, here at a rather hectic present, Ramsey Muniz, a candidate for governor with the Raza Unida Party, last night on our newsroom program in Dallas, called for you to endorse his candidacy. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that perhaps Mr. Muniz has as short a memory as Mr. Briscoe does. I take campaign tactics very seriously. I think that they're very much a part of reform. And I've said on so many occasions I can understand the creation of La Raza. I understand the frustrations and the unfairness that brought it about, and that is part of self-determination. My role is within the Democratic Party, and if Mr. Munoz could only recall 2 days before the runoff, he was lumping me with part of all of the old politics in Texas, which I've tried to fight, but I've tried to fight it within the Democratic Party, where I'll continue to fight it.
And you will not be a candidate for the new party either, which has entertained you.
I've said, all those many times, Lee, I was on your program. I'm a Democrat, but before it you put reform and underline it 3 times.